Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, unless you're driving, will you please welcome my very special guest, Joel from For King and Country. How are you, mate?
Why can't they welcome me if they're driving? Are you like that to clap or something?
Yeah. Please that's what I meant to say. Put your hands.
Don't do it. Don't drive us. Just hold on. Just say g'day. Just say g'day, Joel. That'll work.
Yes, that's right. If you're driving, don't be distracted by my guest. Just keep driving. We have a lot to talk about here in a short amount of time, so let's get right into it. I want to say big congrats to the announcement, the Burn the Ships tour happening this fall.
We've dubbed it the World Tour. It's been kind of complicated because we've done a whole bunch of parts. So Luke and I have been in this furious argument about, is it part one or phase 1 or phase 3? What is it? So we did Australia and Asia at the beginning of the year. We did kind of the eastern portion of America. We just wrapped that up last weekend. And then this fall, we're kind of doing the ultimate variation of it, where we're going into 36 arenas through the United States and Canada and reshaping the whole production. It's just us and the audience. So we're going to play every song off Burn the Ships. We're going to play more music than ever. And the stage and the whole design, JR, is in the sort of image of the bow of a ship. Think Titanic with Leo and Kate. Leo and Kate. Leonardo. There you go. That you kind of like the thrust comes out to a point, and there's this the LED screens that sort of move around the stage to create different visuals. It's kind of in the 7 years of the band, I've so desperately wanted to be able to envision a concept tour and put it together, and we've never been able to do it until now. So I can't wait.
It is very interesting. You went with Jack from Titanic and his counterpart. I went Captain Jack Sparrow standing on the end.
Okay. No, I'll take it. That's actually probably closer. I chose the Leo and Kate was a poor attempt at humor, but it's Captain Jack. I mean, we did shoot Burn the Ships, the music video, on the same boat that was used as the Interceptor in Pirates of the Caribbean. So basically, I am some weird iteration of Jack Sparrow in the end.
In a spiritual sense.
Yes, but in a much maybe hopefully a little bit healthier,
right,
stable place. Yeah,
no pillaging or anything. I want to play it right here because it's one of my favorite songs off the album, the title track. When is this going to be? Do you have a date when it's going to be released to radio officially?
We're still kind of talking. We're so neck deep in God Only Knows, and man, it's just been such a radical song for us. Kind of crept up, and all of a sudden, not only have you been so kind as radio, but we've had all of these features like producers and bands and artists, one of which is like I've dubbed her the Queen of Nashville. She's an icon. She's an international household name. She came out and said, "Hey, I love this song. I want to sing it with you." And so we're kind of over the next month or two, we're rolling out all of these different variations and features for God Only Knows. So I'm kind of the two things on my docket right now is Burn the Ships tour, and then God Only Knows. The rest of it, I just kind of, who knows? But I do love, Burn the Ships is a very important song to both Luke and I. This is the title track. But
well, two things.
Determined.
Congrats on the number 1 with God Only Knows. That's very, very special to hit number 1 on the old charts there.
Thanks, man.
But
we're thrilled.
As we're talking about Burn the Ships, the tour, let's just go into Burn the Ships, the song. We've talked a little bit about it in the past, but can you just maybe just give me the heart behind?
I'll give you a flyover.
Okay.
Burn the Ships
a sail over.
Sorry, a sail over. Burn the Ships was actually unknowingly the first song we wrote for the album, and I remember it. The moment that we kind of stumbled across it in a sense, and that was it was a hard moment. We were in Texas, Austin, Texas. We had a show. Courtney, my sister-in-law, Luke's wife, Luke makes up the other half of the band, called and said, "I need you to come home right now." And he literally got on a plane, in an hour later. Missed that show that night. I performed it on my own, and went home to her shaking, going through withdrawals. She had become addicted to anti-nausea pills. She was pregnant with their second child. And next morning, they found themselves at basically a mental institution where she was prescribed, I think, 2 weeks of therapy to try and kick the addiction. And not long after that, Luke tells the story, walked into the bathroom or the toilet, as I'd call it, and she was standing over the toilet with a lot of pills in her hand, slowly pouring them out. And he said, "What are you doing?" kind of frightfully. And she said, "I've just got to flush the pills as a visual symbol that there is no going back." And he recalled, speaking of visual symbols, there was a story about an explorer that hundreds of years ago was going into uncharted territory and a new island, and none of his guys wanted to come off the boats. So in essence, he called all the men onto the shoreline, gave the generals the order to burn the ships because they said, "We won't go back. We're marching into the future. There is no retreat." And this record really, that symbolized the record so well, and where we find ourselves as men, and even maybe as a country that I became a citizen not too long ago, that there is no retreat. So the question lies before us: what ships do we have to burn? Because we all have them.
Can you, Joel, I know that you, with the movie Priceless, and I know your brother's involved in filming, can you just update our audience on any upcoming film projects for you?
Oh, man, I'm so stoked to tell you about this. So we were in LA about a month ago playing an event, and it was a film announcement event with Lionsgate and a film studio as well called Kingdom Studios. And we are doing a musical that's kind of set around Christmas time during the era of the Civil War, about two brothers who end up on opposite sides of the battle, an older brother and a younger brother. And the film is called Drummer Boy. And we are writing for it now. We go into production at the end of the year. So, man, it's going to be a minute, but it's on the docket. It's happening. It's been announced. So keep an ear and an eye out in a year or two, something like that.
Okay. When you're ready, my daughter, Queen Amidala, is a huge For King Country fan. I'll make the drive when you have some extras available. Extra scene.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll need to drive to Georgia.
Yeah, that's easy.
That shouldn't be too hard.
No. We'll do it in a minute. Hey, bouncing off of that, because I'm super stoked for that, but I know you've been dabbling for a little while in this. Talk to me. The one thing, now I made a 10-second cameo in a couple of scenes in the Rich Mullins film, Ragamuffin, which is nothing. I didn't even make IMDb over that. But the one thing I always thought of when I thought of getting into the acting world is I'm like, my wife would never be okay if I got cast in a role where I had to kiss a woman. You being a married man, how does that play into you thinking of maybe doing more roles? Does it always nix you from, what are your thought process on that?
It's a very valid and good question. My encouragement to any thespians out there, whether it's theater or acting, is that that are either in love or are committed to someone, it should not be taken lightly. Priceless was the first film that I did while we were married. I'd done 3 films with kind of a romantic interest, but it caught me, and Mariah and I we worked through it. She was away traveling a lot. And so Drummer Boy, this is looking very different as to how we go about navigating this relationally. And when I say it caught me, it's just, you don't realize, you have a little crew of people here that you're doing life with for 3 weeks. It's like a weird, camp scenario. And you've got to have your loved ones close. Now, my brother was directing it, and so it was an easy. It wasn't easy, but it was an insulated environment with my brother and my brother-in-law, and people were around. But it needs not be taken lightly. I would say that.
Jayar and the Joy FM present the Thursday Afternoon Chat. Please bring out today's guest.
last questions here regarding summertime, Joel, and they're both kind of similar, but we'll separate the two. Summer vacation you have always wanted to take with your wife, and it's not happened yet.
Paris. We've not been, and she actually literally mentioned it to me like the day before yesterday. She was like, could we go? So that would be a hope and a dream, and I'll put an asterisk beside it.
Okay. You should have hit that probably 2 months ago. Now
Touche.
You know, it's interesting. Right now, if you go to do a Paris-London run, Big Ben is completely covered in a Glad bag for 3 more years, and Notre Dame will be probably 3 or 4 years. 2 major photo moments off the European trip are off the table.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Great time to go to see the Great Wall in China. Greatest summer vacation memory, or I guess it would be winter is your summer growing up in Australia, but kind of that big family holiday vacay you'll never forget when you were younger.
We did go to Australia every Christmas. There was a little kind of dingy compound, I would call it, outside of a city called Toowoomba, which is just inland from Brisbane, where some of my relatives live. And we would go there and, I have 24 cousins, and we would sort of descend on this place, Shannon Park, and I just had some of the greatest childhood memories there. Santa Claus would come, down to Australia, and it was incredible.
Any thoughts of one day revisiting with a family?
I drove by there. We drove by there, I think it was the beginning of this year, just to see. And I think the time has passed it and us now. It doesn't seem like it has the old charm that it used to, but I certainly had a massive stroke of nostalgia.
Yeah. Go see where you initialed on a tree or something, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, big congrats on God Only Knows, and big congrats as well. Burn the ships, and our people will be fully informed on when you're going to be in our area. And love you guys and all the best, all right?
Yeah, you're a good man. Good to chat, as always.